Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for iPad today is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
Coming up, do you know all your iOS tricks? Because we have a few up our sleeve.
Plus, iWork gets better, Real Racing gets airplayed, and The Economist goes crazy.
All that and Pirate Radio for Life.
Yay!
On iPad today.
iPad Today is brought to you by Go to My PC. Stay connected with Go to My PC, the missing link that turns your iPad into your computer. Download the free app and visit gotomypc.com for your free 30-day trial. Use the promo code iPad. And by Ford, featuring Wi-Fi connectivity with available Sync and My Ford Touch. Now your car could be a Wi-Fi hotspot. Check it out in the new 2012 Ford Focus and at Ford.com/technology. And by Netflix. Watch thousands of TV episodes and movies on your PC, Mac, iPhone, iPad, or TV instantly. All streamed directly to you, saving you time, money, and hassle. For your free 30-day trial, go to Netflix.com/twit.
You know,
I go the wrong way every time.
in that little intro, we look really different. We're in the cottage. I've got long hair.
We're not wearing
You're
plaid.
young.
I'm young. We got to make a new one. You're right. By the way, lovely. Isn't this gorgeous, kids?
Thanks, Leo.
I think this is a great haircut for you. You look like a Pan Am stewardess from 1968.
Yes, that's what I was going for. Actually, I was going for a mod, like a
It's
Vidal
mod.
Sassoon
It's
type
totally
of a mod
Vidal
thing.
Sassoon. You need to start wearing, like, what is that, peach lipstick or whatever that they used to wear.
Okay, I'll do that.
It's great. And this is my George Lucas costume for Halloween.
It's funny. Somebody said in the chat room before we started the show, Leo looks like George Lucas, and I
grow a
went
gray
like
beard.
this, like, how could he possibly? Oh, he does.
It's the plaid shirt.
It's the plaid shirt. It's very nice.
You know, this is a Scotty vest.
Which means that there's a lot of hidden stuff,
There's
right?
pockets in the pockets. It's got the personal area network. You can run the wires if you have your iPad and you have the wires coming through there. It's got a little pocket in the pocket. It's got a hidden pocket here. This actually is great for your
Pocket in the
iPhone.
pocket.
It's awesome right
You
there.
want to put your pocket in your pocket.
It's got a little pocket here.
What?
And yet, it's a
Yeah.
dress shirt. They make regular dress ones and everything.
Well, it
I
doesn't
like
look
this.
the least bit bulky, which is the nice thing about
Exactly.
it, because
Exactly.
you figure things that have so many pockets aren't actually going to be comfortable
They just
or
came
realistic.
Out. They just came out, and Scott sent me a couple, and I thank you, Scott, because I don't have to buy clothes again. You know, I wear his underwear, I wear his pants, I wear his shirts. I don't have to buy clothes.
Wow. So, Leo, we sure missed you last week.
Hey, thank you, MG Siegler, for filling in.
He was great.
It couldn't have been better timing because iOS 5 had just come out, and MG had some time with it.
He had some time with it. He had some time with it for a while because he was part of the developer program. But what he also had some time with was the 4S. And by last Thursday, even the people that had pre-ordered really hadn't gotten any yet. So it was the first 4S iPhone that I'd been able to
Did you
play
upgrade?
with. On my iPhone? No, because I got a 4S for my birthday. So I just got a new phone.
You got a new iPhone.
So I didn't need to
Happy
upgrade.
birthday. When was your
Thank you.
birthday?
It was last week.
That's a nice present.
It was a nice present.
I upgraded the iPhone 4S, and I'm very happy. You know what? I've been an Android guy. I switched
I know.
a couple of... I think I switched for the iPhone 4, and I'm very happy. Now, it's still... This is the bad news. Drops calls all the time.
But that's because you're on AT&T, not because it's a 4S.
Yes.
You should really move to Verizon. Because
Do you have a Verizon?
Yeah, I moved to Verizon when the iPhone came to Verizon because I could not make phone calls in half of my house on AT&T.
Yeah.
And I went to Verizon, and I've had no problem since.
Dropped 2 calls today.
That's annoying.
And I thought, oh, I forgot. I moved back to the iPhone. However, I love everything else, and I love Siri. And I have to say, iOS 5, the reason that I was using Android is I didn't like Apple's notifications system. I didn't like their keyboard. I liked the ability to dictate, which Android had.
Yeah.
Both of those have been fixed in iOS 5. It really, I'm very happy.
I think that's actually it's a leg up that anybody who's used an Android phone and an iPhone have, because you say the iPhone keyboard sucks, and I say, why does it suck?
Right.
It's the only keyboard I really ever use. It works fine.
Look at that.
5 fingers.
Sausage fingers.
Ah, yes.
It's a condition I've had ever since childhood.
Yeah, I kind of
And-
have it too.
Well, for a woman,
I mean, the hands are small, but they're sausagey.
It's hard to type. Do you find on the iPhone?
Yeah.
So I have been using Siri to dictate. The dictation in Siri is really, really good. My new email system is I'll open the email on the iPhone and dictate the answer. I can't wait. Now, here's the thing, and this is how this ties into the iPad. I fully believe, remember they said Siri is beta, that once they get Siri settled in, once they get the network issues settled, because everybody was using Siri to ask it, you know, what's the meaning of life, and it's been really slow.
Yeah.
It's kind of coming back now. It's very snappy these days. I think they will roll it out for the iPad 2. You know why? The iPad 2 has everything the iPhone 4S has. Same double-core processor, even running at a faster speed. It's got as much memory. There's no reason, no technical reason why it couldn't be on the iPad 2. I think we'll get it.
I tend to agree with you. 2 weeks ago now, we were saying, well, what is the limitation unless it's just Apple trying to get you to buy a phone? Apple knows that there are plenty of people who have no other Mac product besides an iPad. And something like Siri, you know, if it's like this cool new thing that everybody's using, it works really well, of course they want something like the iPad to be able to run it. But they want to make sure that they iron out as many kinks as possible on one device first. And
Siri goes out to the network to do the voice recognition. So it uses network resources. They knew that there would be, and there are, you know, they said 1/3 of everybody who has iOS 5 capability has now upgraded to iOS 5. They sold 4 million iPhone 4Ss.
In 3 days.
In 3 days. So then the network has been taxed. So I think that they're going to wait till it settles down, and then they'll make it available. They might even make it available on the iPhone 4. I don't think there's any technical reason they couldn't do that either. So for those of you who have iPads but older iPhones and are saying, what is this Siri thing? I think soon the iPad 2 will have Siri. That's my prediction.
Well, something that we talked about iOS 5 quite a bit last week, and newsstands and reminders and all sorts of new cool things about iOS 5, but some of the apps that actually take advantage of iOS 5 are worth mentioning, and iWork, Apple's own apps, which is Pages, Numbers, and Keynote, they all got updated.
They did.
So now all of your documents, once you hook up to iCloud, they now are synced in iCloud, so not only can you download those files, whether it's iWork files, PDF, or an Office doc file onto another computer later, but you can also upload to iCloud and then download as an iOS-compatible file on your iPad, so it goes both ways.
You
Very
have
helpful.
to migrate your mobile Me account. If you haven't done so, go to me.com, and there's a button. They'll say right up front, would you like to migrate to iCloud? Before you do it, my advice is back up your contacts and back up your calendar. You can do both if you're on a Mac, and iCal, and the address book. If you're on Windows, you probably already got them backed up in other forms. Because sometimes when you start syncing with a new system, you can have duplication issues or even deleted contacts. But then once you've done that, then go to all your iOS devices like your iPad and turn on iCloud. It's in the settings. The next time you launch Pages or any iWork, it'll ask you, you want to go to iCloud? And you'll say yes. And all of a sudden, that's available to you. You'll be saving to the cloud. You'll be backing up to the cloud.
I had the same issue as you. We obviously both haven't been in Pages since we upgraded to iOS 5.
Right. You now are learning more about Pages, aren't you?
Yeah, it's as if I've never been in here before. It's kind of weird. I mean, I don't think I had any important documents, but
well, the main thing is now that you know, like for instance, here, you know, here's a document I wrote for one of the cruises I was going to give. Now, when I save it, it saves it out to the cloud, and I will have a copy on my iPhone. By the way, they now have it for the iPhone as well as on my desktop.
It's everything that iCloud is attached to.
That's great. In fact, once you buy it for your iPad, it automatically you get a free copy in your iPhone. You do have to pay for the desktop version.
Extremely helpful. Keynote is awesome now because you can stream presentations wirelessly.
Isn't that cool?
Whereas you could hook it up and have a mirrored presentation if you're in front of a big group.
Well, and that's one of the things iOS 5 has changed everywhere, is that you can now use AirPlay in all of the things instead of having to hook it up to an HDMI connector and hook that up to the TV set. And that's fantastic. I love that.
Then you're just holding your iPad and you can wander around and you don't have to. We've seen the presentations before where it's like, hey, it's really cool to be running Keynote on your iPad rather than some clunky laptop, but you're still tethered.
A great many of your apps are now going to be iOS enabled simply because they're going to support the notification system. And I love the notification system. It's a little, I wish, tell me if I'm wrong here. They made it the same size as on the iPhone. Shouldn't it go all the way across? Or maybe that's crazy.
Well, It's not really the same size as the iPhone because the iPhone isn't that wide.
It feels like it should fit good out. Anyway.
Well, but okay, so I think maybe it's weird to you because you're on a home screen, but let's say you're within an app and you want to look at your notifications. You may not want to cover up the entire app.
And that is one thing that's a little annoying. Notifications happen even if you're playing a game. You'll get, a news story or whatever in there, and that can be a little annoying. But I have to say, the new notification system, in my opinion, is great. It even beats Android's notification system. It was something badly needed on iOS, and I love it. But you will want to fine-tune that, and you do that by, of course, going to your settings and going to notifications, and you'll see there's notification center notifications and there's non-notification center.
Yes.
This is the old way of doing things. And for instance, I get so many email messages. I don't want email to notify me every time I get a new message. So I say the alert, I turn off the notification center. I say the alert style is none. And now we just have the traditional badge app icon. And that's all I need.
So
I also take it out of my lock screen because I don't want to see new emails. But there are things you do. For instance, I'm playing Words with Friends. And I'd like to know when people have made a move. So I do have it in the lock screen, but I don't have it pop up. You see, you can have it pop up or not. Reminders.
Now the alerts is almost the old style,
exactly.
where you have it requires an action of okay or cancel,
and that's what you want for reminders in most cases. You want a reminder to kind of take over and say, "Hey, you've got to do something."
It. Yeah,
right. I do like it. The reminders are GPS aware, so if you have a 3G iPad and you turn on location services, and you go to and you set up a reminder to remind you to buy dog food when you go to the store, when you walk in the store's door, the reminder will pop up. That is really cool.
It's definitely worth going through. Depends on how many apps you have.
You do want to fine-tune this, I agree.
We have a lot of apps.
It's crazy.
So it'd be a full-time job to go through all of at least my apps that are even in Notification Center and figure out which ones I want actual alerts, notifications, or nothing. But it's already come up. For example, this morning, the New York Times sent me a breaking news alert about...
Gaddafi was killed.
Well, it was actually not about that. It was about something else.
All right.
I can't remember.
But I do like those alerts. Getting news alerts.
But I was confused because I went into New York Times and I said, well, here's my New York Times, and I've got it set as a banner, and I'm not sure why it came up as an alert unless that's another feature from within New York Times app itself saying if it's breaking news, you get an alert.
That sounds like a bug. You should actually be able to set that. That sounds. It showed up as a banner for me because I have it set that way. I think that's the default setting. So you probably will want to go through here because otherwise you get very long notification lists, and you want to get the stuff the cruft out. Like if you, for instance, Game Center will notify me every time somebody wants to be my friend. I probably don't want that in my notifications list.
Right.
A badge is fine on the icon.
Yeah.
On the other hand, breaking news, I do want that in my notifications list. Incoming
I actually was glad that I
iMessages.
got it, even though it didn't show up the way that I thought it would.
I love being able to get breaking news, alerts about things that are happening, right there in the notifications and be able to pull it down. I just think that's really great.
There was something that confused me earlier where I had in my notifications area, whenever I would pull it down, calendar items above everything else.
Right. Is that gone?
And there wasn't an option to cancel them out. Like I can cancel out my Facebook notification if I want to, but I couldn't cancel out calendar, and I could not figure out what is the deal. And that's actually just a setting. You have to go into your calendar. For example, my mobile me calendar.
Thank you. What a good tip.
Yeah, and this calendar is actually, I have to go into notifications and then to...
The calendar is at the top. All the Apple apps are at the top, I think.
Where's my calendar? Oh, maybe it's because I took it out of the notification center because I turned it off entirely.
Oh, scroll all the way to the bottom because all of the notification systems that are not in Notification Center are there. These are non-notification center.
Here we are. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so this is stuff that
you've taken it out, and that's where you put it.
Notification Center.
Right.
Yeah, because when it was on, it was always showing up. Let's see if it shows up now. Yeah, see, it shows up at the top of top of everything, which is, hey, it's helpful, but I know that I have to be here for iPad today. It's like I don't need that all the time at the top of my notifications. So if you're ever wondering, how do I just make sure that doesn't show up? Just turn Notification Center off, and you're good to go.
So you can see it's got a little bit of Facebook-itis, a lot of different settings, a lot of configurations. And as you use it, though, and I've noticed this now having used the iOS 5 for almost a week, that you kind of fine-tune it as you use it. And eventually, I think that becomes very useful. I'm a big fan of Notification Center. And I use it for just those things that I want.
Speaking of Notification Center, how about that new Facebook iPad app?
Oh, don't you love it?
I have not used Safari Facebook once.
You know, this is funny
since
because
the app came out, and I don't miss it.
We've gone back and forth. I said, oh, we don't need a Facebook app. Just use the web page.
Well, that's because we didn't have one. So
now
we were
I see what we were missing.
Well, and the Friendly, which was the third-party Facebook app, which was like the best-selling paid app, I think, might still be. Well, probably not anymore. But that was pretty much your only option if you didn't want to go through Safari.
And I used it.
But it wasn't really better.
I like
It was
Safari.
just an app.
This is better than the web. In fact, a lot of people who don't like the ticker on the web page are going to start using this as their Facebook app. It's really fantastic. It slides over if you press this button to give you a list of, as you get on Facebook, all the different things you get, news feed, messages. This is a new one that is kind of cool and is not on the Facebook page nearby. Here's people in my Facebook friends list who are near me. Isn't that fantastic?
Right.
I could see
Look
where
at all
they
those
are.
people.
I have friends. I have lots of them. So I just think that is a very cool feature that is unique, I think, to the iPad app. I haven't seen that
It's
before.
funny because we knew, several weeks ago now, that the Facebook iPad app was done a long time ago. The lead developer who ended up going to Google said as much.
Right.
And it became a little bit of a joke, like, what is going on over there? But now that it's out, I really have no complaints. I like the app a lot. It clearly, I mean, it's a universal app, so this is a new app for iPhone and iPad, if you look in the App Store. But it works just really well as far as the way that you expect an iPad app to work. Messages even, which is, Facebook Messenger is its own app. It's an iPhone app, but I use it on the iPad. But natively now in the Facebook iPad app, you really don't even need a Messenger app because this one is universal, so it looks lovely on an iPad. It's great. And the notifications I like Facebook notifications to be showing up in iOS 5.
You can turn that on and off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, got options.
The only reason is because I get a lot of friend requests from people I don't know. I've kind of tuned that down. Talk about Facebookitis. There's a new feature in Facebook that says somebody can only ask to friend you if they're already a friend of your friends. So you can does that make sense? So that way you don't get random people saying friend me. It always has to be somebody who already knows somebody you know.
But you know what? Everyone is a friend of a friend of a friend.
Yeah.
That's like 4 degrees of Leo.
I know, it's true.
That's the world.
It's cut it down, though, a little bit. And I apologize if you've tried to friend me and it says, no, you can't friend Leo. But that's because I want people to subscribe now and not friend me. And I just, I use Facebook like you should use it, which is you only friend people you actually know.
Yeah, I actually shut down my page.
Yeah,
and
you don't need it
the
anymore.
Subscription service works
Love
out
it.
great. All my public stuff. I actually don't even really send anything anywhere other than public because we live in public.
Yeah, I've always had everything.
But you
in
have
public.
you have options to send certain things to just certain groups or your family or whatever. And
So this is very much an iOS 5 app. It's a great app. I think everybody who uses
beautiful.
Facebook should use it.
the
And
photos are nice.
use it with your notification center. And yeah, look at that. Look at that. I mean, that's great.
Yeah, this is why iPads are. Even though, yes, I know everyone's used to the camera sucks on the iPad. Well, it does.
But you got it.
But with all of the wireless syncing, where you can get photos into your iPad more easily, you've got apps like Facebook that display nice pictures more easily. That's really what it's all about. See, like Zombie Cat. Look how nice he looks.
And that is actually another tip that you might want to consider with your iCloud. If you do have an iPhone, you might want to turn on the photo stream on the iPhone. So you'll find that both on the iPhone and iOS 5 on the iPad in iCloud Photo Stream. When you turn that on, photos are automatically uploaded to the cloud and then downloaded to your devices. So what this means is I can use that great camera on my iPhone, take a picture, and it's on my iPad within a minute. I mean, it's very quickly copied to my iPad, so I don't have to use the iPad camera. If I want a good quality picture, or I took it with the iPhone, I can then share it on Facebook and other places directly from the iPad because it's in the photo stream.
The only thing wrong with that is if for some reason
You take a picture of your butt. I do
forget
that all the time.
Of your butt?
I'm sorry, where were you going with this?
Well, okay, that works. You take a picture that you weren't necessarily meaning to share via iCloud of your butt or something like that. Something embarrassing.
So I should just let you finish your sentences
Or, you
from now
know,
on.
your other boyfriend.
Right.
Kind of
No,
thing.
you do have to be careful, but it is.
I don't have one of those. I just.
It is
I
a little weird. It's something to remember. I'll give you a tip that somebody told me on Mac Break Weekly. It's a good tip. If you're worried about that, only take pictures of your butt with Camera Plus. I'm sorry, your other boyfriend with Camera Plus, because it doesn't go into the photo stream. It goes into the Camera Plus stream.
Right.
Or many of the other camera applications have their own photo stores that aren't
Camera Plus
automatically
uses
copied.
Their light box.
Right. So it's in the
before
light
it
box,
gets
and
into
if
your
you
camera roll.
then want it to go into photo stream, you look at the picture and you can save it, and it'll go into the photo stream, which means it'll be available on all your devices. So that's one way. And a lot of people use Camera Plus to take
It's
pictures.
like, clean up that butt lighting first.
Oh,
before
I
you send it to your
find
photo
that the
stream.
vintage filters,
Emo filter?
emo, it's just great.
Emo butt.
It just softens the contours.
Well, it's something that I certainly need. So yes, I love Camera Plus.
Well, so it's good. So if you use Camera Plus, you don't have to worry about photo stream, because only the stuff that you then save out to your camera roll will end up being on photo stream.
But keep that in mind as well.
Something to be aware of.
We could go on and on about all of the apps that have been iOS 5 upgraded. I mean, if you're updating your apps regularly, you'll notice that pretty much all of the updates now are iOS 5 compatible, updated for iOS 5.
Most of that's Notification Center, although their AirPlay stuff is very nice.
Exactly. Although The Economist had sort of a strange situation where I launched The Economist. I hadn't been in the app in a while, and I thought, I want to read something different. You'll notice here that I've got The Economist.
You see?
And then something called The Economist New.
You'll see what's happening.
Because when I went into The Economist,
It says no.
It said, hey there, we've got a new app. We'd love for you to use it because this app is going to be phased out shortly. Switching to the new app is fine, but you don't actually want to get rid of this app because this is where your archives are for everything that you've bought so far.
That happened with me. Now, this is another iOS 5 uniqueness. This is Newsstand. And let's talk a little bit about Newsstand if we have time. Do we have time?
Well, sure.
We don't have time,
Briefly.
do we? I'll talk quickly. So the thing about Newsstand, you can't get rid of it. It is really not an app. It is a folder.
Yes.
So you can move it around, but if you hold it down and it's jiggle, 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 you can't get rid of it. It's permanent on here, just like the other Apple things. And that's really because it's a folder. And many publications now want to live there. So by the way, I think this is why you got a notification in the alert from the New York Times. You haven't yet converted it to Newsstand.
No, it's a Newsstand.
All right. Because what happens is all of those apps that were standalone apps are now in Newsstand, and that does give it the new notification system and so forth.
But here's where that's weird, though, Leo, is that New Economist didn't go into Newsstand.
Well, that was their decision.
Well, you know what they had to do is they weren't using Apple's in-app purchase rules.
They didn't want to do that.
They just bypassed it for a while, and finally in iOS 5, it broke their app.
Right.
So they were forced to create a new app, but also to remind people not to get rid of the old app if they wanted to access
annoying?
the back issues. It's
That's
really
annoying.
weird.
And I'll have to admit, I'm not that crazy about the new Newsstand app. I do kind of prefer the standalone apps. And as you said, one of the problems is, so the New Yorker automatically converted, and I lost every issue I had downloaded. I had downloaded about 20 issues of the New Yorker. They're all gone, and they're ginormous. So it takes forever for me to download them, and they're all gone. And now I still have my subscriptions. I'm a subscriber and so forth, but there are some negatives to iOS 5, and that's one of them, is you're going to lose back issues.
I love Newsstand.
Why?
Because it looks like a newsstand.
And it gets them kind of out of
like
the way.
a newsstand, and it allows things to download in the background now.
That's good. You're right. It gets new editions automatically.
I
That's
love
huge.
that. One of the most annoying things to me is I've got a limited amount of time. I hope that there's a new issue of Spin. That's a magazine app I read all the time. And then when I see that there is, then I got to download it.
Right.
And it doesn't take that long if I'm on a fast connection, but it's still very annoying.
Scooter X is saying you can restore purchases. Okay, maybe that's the case. The problem, at least with the New Yorker app, is I am a subscriber, so I'm not buying individual magazines.
Right.
I get them automatically as part of my subscription.
Right.
So those I tried to, and those do not restore. I guess if you paid $4.99 an issue, if you weren't a subscriber and you were actually paying for individual issues, it would, but not if you were a subscriber. So there's the distinction. I'm already a subscriber to the New Yorker, so I get it for free. When you first open a Newsstand app, it will offer you to turn on the notifications. I think that's a nice feature. Some of the newsstand apps have, the UI is not, these are really apps. I think they're the same as the standalone apps, right? But they just live in the newsstand app.
Now, here's something interesting. I went into my New Yorker app, which is now in my newsstand.
Yeah.
And it says, do you want to restore your previous purchases?
Go ahead, see what happens.
Because I'm like you, I bought a subscription.
Yeah, and don't show us your password, but you'll have But see, I did this and it didn't download anything.
Really? Well,
Yeah.
let's see what happens.
Now they're telling us that there is a trick to hiding newsstand in a folder. I'd like to know that trick because
We're going to play it later on in the show. Oh. It's almost like we're like this. People who watch iPad today. Leo's just the one that's out of the loop.
This is in general a problem with iOS 5. I read Marco Arment's article about it. He wrote Instapaper.
Yeah.
And he said that iOS 5 has changed the way applications store their own data. In the past, there were two ways to do it. You could put it in a cache, or you could put it in a download folder, or I'm sorry, a documents folder that was unique to each app. So Instapaper, when you downloaded Instapaper Reads, would store it in the cache. But Marco says, here's the problem. The cache is not guaranteed to persist. It will be wiped out if the iPad needs more space. Only the Documents folder is guaranteed to persist. Marco doesn't want to use it because the Documents folder is also backed up, and that can make your backup really balloon.
Got it.
So this is something that every app company is going to have to deal with, is how do they want to store private data? iOS 5 has changed that, and so you're going to see things. Now, did you get your New Yorkers?
Well,
You didn't.
What it has remembered is what I've bought, but no, nothing downloaded.
You have to manually download.
I have to manually download.
So that's the point.
So it's from this point forward.
It wiped out all your data, and that's
Yeah.
probably because it was stored in the cache.
So I think that we've covered your butt as much as we need to.
So and I'm sorry to add that newsstand thing, but I just think that is kind of an unusual feature that is new, and it does give you some strange different behaviors. Like if you had magazines, I had the New Yorker and the New York Times, suddenly they're in the newsstand. So that's just so you know what happened.
The reason that I like the newsstand, okay, and then we'll stop talking about the newsstand, is before there was newsstand on my iPad, there was my little folder that I had down in my dock because I accessed it so often that I just called reading. And everything that's in the newsstand used to be in reading.
That's newsstand.
But reading also included things like News.me and Zeit,
which are not in
and
newsstand.
Reader,
Right.
because it's all stuff I was reading,
So
but they
now-
weren't actual magazines that had brands. So now that the two are separated, and I enjoy that, except that something like HuffPost seems like it belongs in newsstand. It's just not there yet, I guess.
That's why you like it. That's why I don't like it. How is a newsstand better than a folder? The folder, you can put anything you want in it.
Because all of the apps that are that work like a traditional magazine, but now can download to the background, get moved over to
I do
newsstand.
like to download in the background.
So
That's the one thing I like.
So
That's the only thing I like.
it's a process.
Yeah.
Things in the newsstand are up to date and relevant.
It's basically Apple saying, this is how you're supposed to do it.
Right. Yeah, you want to get into newsstand?
This is how you do
You
it.
change things, Economist app.
This is how you do it.
For all the links to the apps that we mentioned, don't worry if you missed anything, because there's always so much to cover. We always cover a lot of stuff on the show. Just visit us at iPad today. twit.tv/IPT is our website.
So pretty.
Look at that. Look at it go.
Look at that.
Look at it.
It scrolls and everything.
Yeah, we're on episode 68, so you have a lot of back episodes to look through. You can watch the video straight from any of the episode pages. We've got nice embedded video. There's MG showing off the 4S last week. You can also subscribe to our feeds. We have audio feeds.
Was he allowed to do that?
Yeah.
It was the day before it came out. He was allowed to do that.
Well, yes.
Wow.
Yes, he had already written his
that was
review.
a scoop.
Yeah, well.
You had a scoop.
Well, he
Nice to have
had already
somebody-
written about it on
somebody with
TechCrunch, so it
connections
wasn't
on the show.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Leo, let's get into that, shall we? No, I was actually
Somebody
very
Apple
good timing.
sends stuff to.
Yeah, well, they have a good
I actually
working relationship.
bought my iPhone for us. Bought it with my money.
Well, I did too.
Yes.
Well,
No,
somebody bought it.
You had a birthday
It was
present.
a birthday present, but it was
Yes.
bought with real money.
But it was bought with greenbacks.
Tender.
Legal tender.
Legal tender.
Speaking of tender.
Yes. Speaking of tender.
Did you know
What's tender?
that Go to My PC, it's a small ship that, never mind.
Okay.
Do you know that Go to My PC has an iPad app? And this is, I think, really cool. Go to My PC is the program that lets you remote access your office computer or your home computer from anywhere that you can get online. You can put it on a Mac or a PC. In fact, you can do it right now. All you have to do is go to mypc.com, click the Try It Free, that big orange Try It Free button. There it is. And type in iPad. That's the offer code. 30 days free. And now you've got it on your PC or your Mac. Here's the deal. You go to the App Store and download the free Go to My PC app on your iPad or your iPhone now. Or your Android phone, if you should be so bold. And there, from that device, you can access your computer. It's so cool. You can send and receive email using Windows or Mac. You can run any program, access any network resource. It's just like you're there, but the screen's different, basically. I just think this is amazing. 128-bit SSL, so it's secure when you use it. You get the best of both worlds, more freedom and more power. And I'm telling you, it is easy to set up. You won't need any help at all. The IT department need not be called. Just visit gotomypc.com, click the Try It Free button, and use iPad as the offer code. It is truly the best, fastest, easiest. People are going to say, oh, I could do that. There's a free app to do it. Yeah, but you know what? You get what you pay for. This is free for 30 days. Just compare this to any app on the marketplace, and you tell me this is the one you're going to want. Gotomypc.com. Try it free right now. Okay, Sarah Lane.
Couple updates of the apps that I thought were worth mentioning. So we just talked about the Facebook app, but there is also the Facebook Messenger app, which is an iPhone app. And I know that you hate running iPhone apps on the iPad, but this is my new SMS, pretty much. I have to say, everyone's on Facebook.
Not iMessenger, the Apple solution.
No, because iMessage doesn't work with people outside of iOS.
I know.
At least not now, anyway.
Yeah.
And Facebook Messenger, hey, everybody's got a Facebook account, right? So one of the cool things about Facebook Messenger, these are little updates, but let's say that you and I are having a conversation back and forth. Yeah. Now, within the app, I can see that you're connected via mobile, which tells me something a little bit different. Like, are you sitting at your desk? Do you have Facebook open in a tab type of a thing? Or are you on the go? Which is relevant for when you're having a conversation with somebody, almost as it, if somebody's very short with you, then you have a better idea. Oh, they're on their way somewhere. They're on their iPad. Now, if you, Leo Laporte wrote me back. Hey, I'm writing.
I just sent you a message from iMessage.
Oh, well, that's not what I'm even talking about, you nerd. I'm like, it didn't work the way it was supposed to work. If you were to write me back within Facebook Messenger, another thing.
This gripes me because gosh darn it, if Apple had put the capability to log into the other messaging components instead of just the Apple only, then I could have done this.
You'd have Adium for iOS.
Why didn't they do that?
Because they didn't. They can't get along with Facebook as well as they should. But if you were to write me back on Facebook Messenger, I could see that you were typing.
All right, I'll download
So
it.
that is a very IME way to do
I like
things.
that.
That's
so it says
cool.
Leo's typing.
Yeah, so not only can I see that you're typing, but I can also see whether you're mobile or connected via web.
You know
so
why we need that?
Worth mentioning.
Because when you send a message, you don't know if the other person is paying attention.
Exactly.
So when you see them typing, you know, we're going to have a conversation.
And you know what the best part is? You see them typing, and then they stop. And then you're like, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I do that too.
What were you doing?
What did you type? You deleted it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Press enter.
Uh-huh.
Press enter.
You got no guts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not friends.
No, I don't like you anymore.
That's right.
God.
I've actually had that conversation.
Have you really?
Yeah, it wasn't even that long ago. Yep. I got you. You were there.
You typed something. And
I was away from my computer.
And then you
weren't.
backed out of it. I know you did. Wow.
We're not friends.
Wow.
I know.
I've got to remember not to do that to you.
Yes, I'd appreciate that.
I might have done that recently. I don't remember.
No, you didn't. We really don't talk on...
I don't really talk to you at all after the show's over.
No, it's weird. You'd think that we were closer.
I wander right off.
We're not. Just wanted to also mention
What's that called?
AOL Editions. What do you mean?
The Facebook Messenger. All right.
Yeah, you don't even have that downloaded.
I don't know because I hate iPhone apps on my beautiful iPad. They
live
sell
in the
you.
now, man. You are missing out.
I think you're living in the past.
I think you are stupid.
I saw you type that.
AOL Editions, really quick. I had complained about, we talked about this. I don't know if it was an app cap or just something that I mentioned was new. This is sort of their news magazine where it gets smarter as you keep reading and say what articles you like and don't like. One of my big gripes was that AOL Editions, for whatever reason, launched in portrait mode, not in landscape mode.
That's just crazy.
If it's an iPad, if it's a universal app, whatever. Okay, if it's an iPhone app, obviously it's only going to be portrait mode, except sometimes, weirdly, they work in landscape mode. But for an iPad-enabled, beautiful news experience... Hey, Leo messaged me. Neat. I win. Thank you. As you can see now, we're in beautiful landscape mode. So you can go either portrait or landscape. So just it's a little change. It's something that the team actually had tweeted me because they knew that we had talked about it on the show and said, we're working on that. Don't worry about it. And they made good on their promise. So if that's something that bothered you, it's better now.
Just something they left out.
Just something they left out.
They use Slacker now on the AOL Radio, which is cool. Do you have AOL Radio in that app, or is that not in there? Might be a separate standalone app.
Yeah, I don't. If it is, I haven't gotten that far yet. AOL Radio, but you know what? I know that you've been interested in is racing.
Oh,
racing games.
Yeah, yeah. So of course they talked a lot about the new racing. What's it called?
Real Racing 2?
Real Racing 2 HD.
Yeah. HD meaning it's for the iPad.
They showed it off with the iPhone 4S, like, but actually there's a version for the iPad too.
We're really cool for it, whatever. Let's race.
And you know what's cool? It's actually better. Well, maybe not better. It's okay. So it depends on the size of your steering wheel.
I think it's better on an iPad because a steering wheel is closer in size to an iPad than an iPhone.
The point is that iOS 5 now allows direct AirPlay out of even games. So what's cool is you're playing real racing, and you can actually put this into. Let's start a race here, and I'll show you. You can actually put this into your big screen TV just with AirPlay. So the trick is you double tap, and by the way, thank you, chat room, for explaining this to me because I'm such a maroon. You double tap your home button to pull up, the multitask bar, and you'll see the little AirPlay icon. Any program you're running now, you can AirPlay it out. Now, I can't. I'll do this and it'll go out to our TriCaster, but we have to have an update in the software, so I can't show you the screen. But by doing so now, this video will show up on the TV. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, now this becomes the controller. So when you're playing a great game like this, and I think this is real. I took it out. Sorry. Sorry, chat. I just threw chat. I took it right out of the thing. So now I can steer with this, and you can do it with the iPhone too. And then watch on the big screen as you're playing. But this does feel like it. And with racing games,
you look silly, but it feels good.
Well, you should only do it when you're all alone, which is mostly how I do everything. So, what's cool is the braking and the acceleration and all the controls are on here. So it really is. You don't have to look at this though, and this was always the problem I had with racing games: is you're trying to watch it as the screen is going like this.
Right.
But now I could drive.
It's a little bit more of that arcade experience, where you're looking up
and
you've got.
It's a really good experience.
Yeah.
So.
I'm not so crazy about racing games. They don't really hold my interest very long, but it's a beautiful app. See?
I'm sorry. Did you say something?
Yeah. No, I didn't. Don't worry about it.
No, I'm not a big fan either because I drive. I know how to drive. I have a license.
Yeah.
So it's like. I do enough of that. I don't need to do it on a game.
And racing is dangerous.
Not in the iPad, it's not.
No,
unless you accidentally throw your iPad through the window.
But that's the thing. It's like you're like emulating sort of like a NASCAR experience. I don't know. I'm just not the right. We talked about racing games once as a theme, and I was like, all right, I'm going to get into this.
You didn't.
Well, I did for the purposes of research, but it's like I never really played any of that stuff again.
I got a game for you. Wait till my app cap.
All right.
You're going to want to play this game.
All right. Before we get to some of your viewer feedback, we should probably thank Ford Tech for sponsoring this episode of iPad Today.
I think this is kind of cool. We're going to have Ford barbecues, by the way. I hope you'll come to them next month.
What? I work here.
Well, good. then you should be here.
So I'll be here.
So, what we're going to do, we got a permit from the city. We're going to block off the street. We're going to have a barbecue out there and Ford vehicles so that you can actually see the Ford vehicles. And we'll come to a special episode of Twit in our new show, which is right after Twit. It's going to be a really good show. And it's going to be the best damn gaming show ever.
Ooh, that's quite a claim.
That's actually its name.
I guess now that's what it has to be.
Yes. Anyway, I'm really excited about it, but that's neither here nor there. We are going to tell you later how, in the coming weeks, how you can get a ticket, a golden ticket to this event, because it's going to be limited, very limited, as to the number of people who can come. Nevertheless, I love Ford. I love it that they're back. What's really happened with Ford is their new CEO, Alan Mulally, he's been there for 7 years now, something like that, has really turned this company around into a 21st century company. They've become, in effect, a consumer electronics company. When you get inside a Ford vehicle with an available sync and My Ford Touch, you've got 3 screens. You're able to do everything via voice. By the way, Siri wasn't the first to do this. I've been telling my car what song to play. I've been asking it where the nearest gas station is. You press a button. where's the nearest gas station? And it tells you, I mean, all of this stuff is very, very cool. The latest thing now, they put into the new 2012 Ford Focus, and it'll be rolling out in many more new Ford vehicles. You have one of those USB 3G keys. It has 2 USB slots now. Some of them are in the center console. Sometimes it's on the dash. You plug it in there, and the car is wired. It becomes a Wi-Fi access point. Yes, it has a password. You don't have to worry about the other people on the highway. And up to 5 people in the car can be using their laptops or their iPads.
That's so awesome.
On Wi-Fi. It's just amazing as you're driving down the road.
Especially like on a trip to Tahoe and you're stuck in traffic and no one really wants to be there anymore and you're sick of talking to each other.
Yeah, really. I'm going to sign into the Wi-Fi. What else? I mean, so many great things. The new engines, this fuel economy, it's amazing. Here's the deal. Go to Ford.com/technology, and they've got a page where they show you all the new technologies. I myself am very excited. I can't wait. I've already put myself on the list for the 2012 Ford Focus Electric. I cannot wait. This is going to be my new car.
You're going electric, huh?
Well, I've been driving the Mustang. We're going to keep the Mustang. You know, we're going to keep it as a company car. So the employee of the month or the week, will it be week? The day? Okay. The employee of the day will get to drive the Mustang.
That's a lot of muscle.
I know.
I'm
I
excited.
think you're ready for a V8 muscle car.
I am.
You could talk to it and all that stuff.
Sure.
It's a bright red TV license plates. So anyway, that will be the company car, and then I'm going to drive the I'm going to be hello, bye, Sarah. No, actually, the
electrics they're actually the
torque
cool
on the
kids
electric.
now.
Boom.
Yeah.
We will have a race. Boom. We'll block off the street. Except it's silent. Anyway,
Manly.
Ford.com/technology.
I
think you're going to love this. Go there. Look at all this cool stuff. You know they got seatbelts with airbags in them now?
What?
Is that a good idea?
Yes.
Is that brilliant?
That's amazing. So it's not like jumping out of your...
Watch.
The belts protecting these crash test dummies demonstrate a world first.
Look at that.
Wow.
Isn't that smart?
Inflatable safety belt.
It
You
makes
are
more
so...
sense.
Oh, it's the way it should be. Anyway, Ford.com/technology.
Because in accidents, the seatbelts can actually hurt. I mean, they save you, but they dig in.
Not
that
anymore.
That makes
they
a lot
feel
of sense.
good. You'll want to get in an accident. We're going to lose this sponsor.
We're going to do it. Electric against Mustang to the death.
No.
All right. Thanks, Ford. Your technology rocks. Moving on now to some of our feedback. Jason Kistler. Okay, Jason, I love this tip that you gave us. He's from St. Petersburg, Florida, by the way. But it took me a really long time to figure out how to get out of it. This is in the accessibility option in your general settings. Jason pointed out something really cool. If you have VoiceOver activated, in the camera application, it'll actually tell you how many faces are in your shot and where they're located on the screen. So somebody who was blind, for example, could take an accurate, well-aimed shot for a portrait or family photo and make sure that everybody's in the picture. So I went ahead and I did this earlier.
Can I just say that is about the coolest thing I ever heard
I know. It's super cool. So now that it took me forever to figure this out earlier, but now I'm pretty good at it. If you go down to accessibility, this is in your general settings.
Yeah.
You go in and you activate
VoiceOver
on.
Yeah, okay.
This becomes this, it's somewhat cumbersome because then you have to like do a lot of double clicking.
Because you want to turn off the most of the time stuff, right?
Yeah. This is don't have VoiceOver unless you really want to use it. But Chad, can I get the audio up on my iPad?
Camera. One face. Small face. Face near left at one face. Large
Small
face,
large
centered.
face.
One face. One face. Large face.
Wait a minute,
Face
let me
near
get
left
in there.
at
Wait a
one
minute.
face.
Let's see how
Large
smart it
face.
is.
Face centered. One face. Large face. Face near right at one face. Small face. Face near right at one face.
Two faces.
One face.
Two faces.
One face.
Two faces.
Look at you're on the...
One face. One face. One face. Small face.
Here, do this.
One face. Small face.
Is it 'cause I'm
Face near
tilted?
Right at one face. One face. One face. One face. One face.
Leo!
Face
Doesn't
centered.
see me.
These are for blind people.
One face.
They didn't see what I did.
One face.
They heard you.
One face.
What is happening to this company? All right, I'm going back into settings.
I don't like one face. I'm a face too.
Well, you know what? I don't think you should be.
One face. What about me? Is it plaid? Does it not like plaid?
I don't even know. I can't even look at you. One other thing that Jason showed us
you know what?
that I love.
It doesn't work with vampires. I forgot.
Oh, you're vamp. Actually, you know what I think it was? You were at an angle, and we were seeing mostly the side
I
of
didn't
your
look like
face.
a face.
So it may not work perfectly, but have fun with it. And if you're blind, hopefully it helps you with your family portraits. What is with you?
I think that is so cool that
no more shrimp for you at lunch.
they put in such cool stuff. Do you know on the iPhone about the custom vibration?
No.
Yeah, it's also an accessibility. It's not in the iPad because the iPad doesn't vibrate, but the iPhone,
yeah,
you can have custom vibration, and if you go in accessibility, you can even say, make your own. You tap, 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 and it will do that vibration
Oh,
thing.
yes. I did hear about
for
that.
everybody. It's really cool.
Well, and if you, for whatever reason you can't have your ringer on, or you get a message or something.
So I can have Sarah Lane can have her own custom vibration.
Yeah.
So it could be like, like a Sarah Lane, and we go,
it could be like a fun Morse thing.
Yeah. Well, if you knew Morse code, you actually could do it in Morse code.
Yeah, exactly. Also, really quick, also from Jason, under General, and then if you go into Keyboard options here, down at the bottom, you can now add shortcuts. So you can have your own little shortcuts for, if I wanted to, let's say, on a regular basis, I was writing you an email that would say, let's talk about that more tomorrow. And I wanted to say, like, Leo T as a shortcut. I could write that into the email, and it would not just autocorrect, but suggest the autocorrect. So, for example, I made a shortcut this morning that's LOLZ, L-O-L-Z.
I love
what
it.
I want to say is, he, that's funny. Now, that's not necessarily what I would want to do, but let's say I go into my email application here. So I'm going to write you an email, and I go ahead and open up email, and here I say LOLZ. It says, oh, do you want to say he, that's funny? And if I go ahead and
that's great.
And go ahead and spacebar, so you could think, I mean, the possibilities are
Text
endless.
Expander has had that feature as an app for a while,
That's
but
right.
this is built into the OS now.
It's built in. So the
That's
Text
great.
Expander people
That's great.
are not having a good time with this, but the rest of us can.
I can show you another thing in international.
Okay.
You know that in the past, to get emojis, those crazy icons,
I love
you'd actually have to
emojis.
get an application that would hack it and so forth. Emojis are now an international keyboard. So go to international keyboards, add keyboards, scroll down to the E's, and you'll find emoji is now, you don't have to do anything to get an emoji keyboard. It's just there. And that means now when you type something, let's type another message to Sarah here. I can, on the keyboard, watch this. See, that was where you choose the keyboards. By clicking it, you'll now get the emojis, and they're all these cool little emojis. You don't need anything special to insert it. It's just Apple finally realized people wanted this, and I could say Happy Halloween.
Honestly, emojis are so silly, but they come in handy.
I love them.
Yeah, they just do. I mean, they just, I don't know. They're not for everybody, but I use them in Instagram all the time.
Well, and the negative on emojis is they only work on Mac stuff.
Yes.
So if you put an emoji
You
in
see
a
the
tweet,
box.
you just get box.
Yeah, so that can be annoying.
Yeah.
Somebody in chat actually had a nice, great tip for those little shortcuts.
Yeah.
If someone's email address is something that you don't remember, or it's
Perfect.
really long and cumbersome, I just say Leo.
I'm always
And
typing Sarah, you know,
Yeah,
I should
and
just,
Exactly.
Good.
So there you go. Finally, we talked about newsstands and how you couldn't move newsstand around the way you want to. Ethan Barber made us he called it a duh tip, but I think this is less of a duh tip and more of a tip via video. Take it away.
As you know, newsstand can't make a folder.
Hate that.
Or be put into one. What you do is you go to make a folder, so I'll just put these two in one.
Yeah.
You go to make one, and as it makes, you quickly hold the newsstand icon, let go, and it's instantly put in your folder. And it's off your thing. It's off your desktop. As you can see, the iPad still works and everything. This is not jailbroken. I don't jailbreak my devices. The only problem
Good for you,
is
Ethan.
that if you try to open it, obviously it'll reset your iPad because there's no code and it doesn't know how to open a folder in a folder. So it'll reset your iPad to its thing. It won't factory reset. It just
great
restarts the
tip.
springboard.
Well, no,
and
it just does it
you
the
can
once.
Oh, just
still have all
once.
your stuff.
Yeah, not every
However, it still
time.
stays
Oh,
there.
okay.
And you can remove the stuff, so all you have in that folder is the folder. That's my iPad dot tip. Thanks for watching.
We should warn you that not
You're
only does it
welcome, Ethan.
reset the iPad, but it also will break the functionality of Newsstand. You won't have updates anymore, and it may cause other reliability issues. But it's a cool tip.
So you can move it around.
But you can do that
You
if
can
you
move
trick
it
the
around.
Apple.
You can trick
trick me.
Apple.
Basically,
I
think
actually
it's-
tried to do it earlier, and I was like, my timing was off.
I just say we don't recommend this. But now you know how you could do it.
Listen, you were talking about how you couldn't move things around, and I said, yes, you can. And we saw that you can.
You were right,
so
as
Ethan,
always.
Thanks for being brave.
It's actually a good way to hide Newsstand if you don't use it. That's the only time you might want to use it, is if you don't want to see Newsstand anymore, you can at least kind of move it.
You can
folder,
hide it into something.
I have a folder of Apple apps that I can't delete but I never use, like the stock app, things like that. I just put it in a folder and I put it the last page.
Yeah, out of sight, out of mind. We always want to hear from all of you.
By the way, I just got a message
from
Ethan Barber.
You did?
Yeah. He said, thanks for showing my duh tip.
You're welcome, Ethan.
And let me put an emoji.
I need to use some emojis.
Ho, ho, ho. There you go.
Yeah, it's the Christmas season.
Yeah. Not
even at all yet. iPad today at twit.tv is our email address. Of course, our voicemail is 757-504-IPAD. That's 4723. Or for extra points, send us a video. You can be brave like Ethan, do stuff that's, very rogue and maverick and wild, or send us a tip or a question or anything like that. We love to see your face whenever possible. Try to keep either voicemails or videos to under 30 seconds. It's easier for us to run in the show that way. I'm going to put on my app cap.
Put on your app cap. I'm just going to briefly, and I won't take a long time, mention Netflix, because everybody who watches this show must by now be subscribing to Netflix. If you are not, please do yourself a favor. Go to netflix.com/twit. Try it on me, free for 30 days. The streaming is fantastic. It works on your iPad, a lot of other devices, most of your Blu-ray players, many TVs. And there's so many great movies. This is the streaming version of Netflix. It's fantastic. $7.99 a month for unlimited viewing. Netflix.com/twit.
Twit. And now, Leo.
The app cap.
Put on your app cap. I've got mine on.
Oh, it's R2 Mickey 2.
So yeah, that's who I am. Time for the App Cap Award. This is the part of the show, end of the show really, where Leo and I both crown our App Cap winner. It's an app that we like. Same people. That we like for whatever reason. Doesn't really have to fit into any sort of a category at all. It just has to be something that we like. My App Cap this week goes to something called iTune Radio. Now, I'm actually using the version of iTune Radio. It's the Pro version. It's only 99 cents, but you think,
this app,
well, why not the free version? Yeah. The free version doesn't allow you to record anything that you listen to, and it also is ad-supported. So for $1...
TuneIn Radio Pro.
Exactly. Yeah. For $1, you don't have ads, and you can record anything you like. Now, if I go into the app itself, where are we here? Here we are, TuneIn Radio. Nifty little radio app that allows me to listen to radio stations from around the world.
This has become the radio app. There are a lot of radio apps. This is the only one you should have. It's on iPhone, Android, as well as iPad. In fact, I just got the WD Western Digital TV Live. It's on that. It's going to be on, I'm sure, going to be on Roku soon. So it is the way to listen to any internet radio. And, as you say, record, which is amazing.
Yeah, so earlier I was listening to XFM London. So this is a radio station I'm not that familiar with, but there was a song. It's like a hard rock station or alternative rock type of station. And I was listening to something, and let's say...
There it is. We're listening to radio in London.
So let's say for whatever reason I'm like, okay, I'm interested in whatever they're talking about right now. I go ahead and hit the record button.
Look at that.
And until I stop recording, this now becomes an audio file that I have on my iPad for later. It's great. It's very much like taping off the radio, which anybody who used to tape off the radio knows that was like a really fun thing that we all used to do back in the day. Oh, yeah.
Would you hold up like a cassette player to the radio and do that?
Well, no, you just record, and it takes...
the radio had a...
Yeah, but then you try to get as much, you try to start as soon as the DJ stopped talking.
Right.
So you would cut off the beginning of the song, and then you'd listen to your mixtape over and over. So you've got your recordings area. You also have presets. So if there are certain stations that you like...
Were you 12 when you did that?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Started a little earlier, but that's what we did back in the day before we had CDs that we could write to. Yeah. KCRW down in LA is this great alternative station.
Love that station.
Everyone who knows it loves it, and so now I can listen to KCRW right from
by the way,
TuneIn Radio Pro.
Just so you know,
yes,
Twit is also on this, and you can make it one of your favorites and listen to it all the time.
Oh, that's rad.
Yeah.
That's rad. Except that if you do that for iPad today, then you won't see us.
Well, you should.
But that's fine.
You should only listen when you can't watch.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you'd miss the beautiful clouds.
That's right. Yeah. What's also nice is that once I have KRCW as a preset, it also gives me a variety of programs that are on the station regularly. So it's not just, tune into the station. I could say, I really like, they have a lot of stuff that NPR has as well. Let's say, I really like Theater Talk, right? So I can go ahead, this program is not available. Great. Well, if it was, I could go ahead and add to presets.
There is something going on. The chat room said that CBS pulled all its stations from there because they have a CBS app. I hope that radio stations don't act so stupidly. But unfortunately, some stations are pulling their stuff off of streams. They want you to watch it on their web page, for instance, and watch the ads and so forth. But this gets the majority of internet radio and worldwide, and that's what's so cool.
Worldwide, which is, as far as indie stations go, they're not going to have the same rules as CBS. Nothing that I looked up, I guess, was a CBS
right. I love it
property.
that you can say, I want to see my local stations, for instance.
Exactly.
And it knows what's nearby.
I want to see everything that's available in the Chicago area. Maybe you're a recent transplant to the West Coast from Chicago. Or maybe what I did earlier was I wrote in 49ers, and I went ahead and searched, and it gave me not only radio stations that are talking about the 49ers, but actually a broadcast from the 17th where they talked about how the 49ers beat the Lions.
So pre-recorded.
Yeah,
that's
so this
awesome.
is like you can actually search for a program by keyword or keywords, which was great. I really enjoyed that. And I also found some really bad dubstep stations that I can listen to.
There's no such thing as bad dubstep.
Well, it was graphic dubstep. There were F-bombs, but there was definitely the drop as well. So this is TuneIn Pro. I love it. 99 cents.
Can I show you how to put twit on it?
Yes.
Because it's not, it's kind of
Are you sure I can't just write in twit?
Oh, well, that's one way.
There you go, Twit Live.
Twit, and then add it to your favorites.
It says Tech News Today because we're late. So that's my app cap.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
It actually has our schedule on there.
Yeah, exactly.
My app cap is a game. I like the games. This one's really fun. It's iOS 5 enabled. In fact, I was playing with Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas. I was playing because there's an online version of this game, and they'd be slow to make their moves. It's almost like a chess game. So they'd make their move. And then I make my move, and then I do something else, and the notification center would say, "Oh, Mandalay Bay, Las Vegas made their move," and so then you'd go back, and so you go back and forth. It's called Siegecraft, and it kind of combines tower defense with Angry Birds. How about that? So I'll give you a basic idea of this. So you see, there it is. Here's single player. There's multiplayer online, and I could play against you in split screen mode as well if you're physically near me. We'll just play the basic backyard. This is the first tutorial level, just to give you an idea of what goes on. It's free. There's in-app purchases, and that's how they make their money. Although you can earn upgrades. There's a store to your weapons. This is just a very simple kind of catapult weapon. You see, I aim it by turning it. I pull back to shoot, and I'm going to try to hit that target. And there you go. And so the idea on the single player game is there's a whole campaign. People will start attacking you, and in fact, let's exit and I'll show you, give you some idea of the different levels. They'll start attacking you, and you have to defend yourself. But it's also, I think, very cool that you can. By the way, it uses Game Center. That's how you can see how you're doing and find another place. This is where you shop to buy more stuff, weapon upgrades, ammunition upgrades, and this is where they make their money. You can, if you get impatient, buy coins, but you earn coins by hitting targets. So it's completely possible to play this without spending any money at all. I love the multiplayer version. Let's see if anybody wants to play with me. Anybody want to play with Leo?
This is so you, dude.
What?
It's castles
you would never play
and
this
targets.
Game? If you like Angry Birds,
it's
I
just
think you'd
a
like
Leo
this.
kind of a game. This is the nicest looking one, though.
Oh, it's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
So this is the one I beat Mandalay Bay, Las Vegas. You also have, I guess you can, but you also have other weapons. This is it's a trebuchet. It fires fiery balls and things like that. And then kind of what's fun is they have, for instance, for Halloween, they gave us all flaming pumpkins. So you can, they give you, let's play a different, here we go. Valley of the Wind. All right. You can shoot cows. You can buy cows and shoot cows.
Neat.
Yeah. No.
It's not just birds anymore.
Oh, no.
You catapult the cows.
Very similar, though, physics kind of game. And this, you can see they gave us all these flaming pumpkins, but you can get other weaponry as well. So that's kind of cool. I'll choose the flaming pumpkins. And let's see. Okay, so here they come. So I'm just going to shoot them really quickly here. See, they're shooting me. Oh, yeah. Ooh, let's shoot them with the arrow.
Somebody kill Leo.
They are. They're killing me. See, it's a kind of a battle here. Oh, boy.
This is fun.
Flaming pumpkin. Yeah, this is kind of... Oh.
You got something? Oh.
Yeah, two-time kill streak. That's always good. Let's see. Here we go. Boom. All right. Here comes another one. See, it's kind of fun. The music's good. The graphics are good. The sound effects are fun. And it's a casual game. I mean, you don't have to play it nonstop. I do enjoy the online play, though, because you can find somebody to play against. It's kind of cool that way.
It's $1, too. $1 for this?
Oh, I thought it was free. It's $1? That's not so bad.
Yeah, it's 99 cents in the App Store.
Most of the money is, of course, in-app purchases. That's what they That's what they want.
But even so.
So they're assaulting me. And it's Angry Birds with flaming fires of flaming cows.
Multiplayer.
I love it. Cool, huh?
It'd be cool if you could do Angry Birds as multiplayer. Like, some people are the pigs, and I don't know how that would work exactly. It always comes back to Angry Birds for me, especially when everyone's in a suit of armor.
If you like Angry Birds, I think you would actually like this.
I actually don't really play Angry Birds. It's just something that I know everyone's familiar with.
All right, see, I'm gonna get this tower of theirs because I don't like this tower. All right, anyway, that's my app cap. It's called Siege something or other. What was it called?
It's called Siegecraft, and it's 99 cents from Crescent Moon Games.
I got him. That thing was really bugging me.
It's hard to do two things at once when you're, engaged in
Well, what's
battle.
nice about this arrow, you can actually shoot 2 people at once. It goes right through one and goes through the other one. So that's kind of cool.
And then, yeah. So that's Siegecraft. Really good, Leo. Enjoyable for us to watch you play this game.
Sorry about that. What? Did you want something?
And that's it for this edition of iPad Today.
What? Oh.
Yeah, our show's over.
Thank you, everybody.
I'm pulling the plug. Thank you, everybody.
Don't you love her haircut? Yeah, okay.
Uh-huh.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Okay. That was
Hello, I'm George Lucas.
Oh my gosh, that's so scary. Scary and accurate. Wow. You're George Lucas. Okay, read your billboards. I have to go.